Buying Greenland. Seriously, the internet was ablaze, diplomats were bewildered, and Denmark, bless their hearts, basically just blinked and asked if we were joking. But here's the thing, it wasn't a joke, and it wasn't just some random brain fart. It was a masterclass in the psychology of a very particular kind of power, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. For a hot minute, the world collectively scratched its head. Why Greenland? Why now? Is this some sort of real estate prank on a global scale? And if you thought it was just about the icy tundra or the strategic location, you're missing the real story. You're missing the secret sauce of how power, for some, isn't just about influence or diplomacy, but about ownership. The ultimate acquisition, the biggest, shiniest trophy on the global mantelpiece. Now, before you go thinking this was a completely novel idea from the mind of a former reality TV star, let's take a quick detour into history. The US has actually tried to buy Greenland before. Back in 1867, the Secretary of State, William Seward, the guy who bought Alaska, earning him the nickname Seward's Folly, sniffed around the idea. Then President Truman, after World War II, offered a cool $100 million for it. These were strategic, calculated plays, diplomatic overtures, negotiations. But Trump, his approach was less diplomatic overture and more, "I'll take that one," like a kid in a candy store, only the candy store was an entire sovereign territory. His offer wasn't a subtle feeler, it was a loud public declaration, purportedly followed by genuine shock and offense when Denmark, understandably, wasn't ready to sell off its citizens like a slightly used SUV. You might have chuckled at the time, maybe even face-palmed, but that very reaction, that global head-shaking, was part of the play. It disrupted the usual script. It forced everyone to pay attention. So let's peel back the layers and get into the real juicy stuff, the psychology behind this geopolitical garage sale. First up, it's about the transactional mindset. If you've spent your life building an empire out of concrete and glass, if your entire career is predicated on identifying assets, making offers, and closing deals, then the world itself starts to look like one giant property portfolio. Greenland, with its vast, untapped resources, rare earth minerals, oil, gas, isn't just an island, it's a prime development opportunity. It's beachfront property, even if that beach is currently frozen solid. For this mindset, everything has a price, and every problem has a transactional solution. You want security? We'll buy it. You want influence? We'll acquire it. It reduces complex international relations to a simple cost-benefit analysis, a grand negotiation where the biggest bidder wins. Then there's the symbolism of acquisition. Think about it, owning the world's largest island. What does that say? It screams dominant, powerful, unlimited resources. It's not just land, it's a statement. It's the ultimate trophy asset, a physical manifestation of a certain type of ego and ambition. It's the equivalent of having the biggest, shiniest, most ridiculously oversized yacht, only instead of a yacht, it's a chunk of the planet. For someone whose brand is being the best, the biggest, the most, Greenland fits the narrative perfectly. Imagine the marketing slogans. Trump's Greenland. We've got more ice than you know what to do with. Okay, maybe not that, but you get the picture. It's about planting a flag, not just literally, but symbolically in the collective consciousness. It's a move designed to make everyone, friend and foe alike, sit up and take notice of the sheer audacity, the sheer power of the person who even dares to suggest such a thing. This leads us to the disruptive power play. Most leaders operate within established diplomatic norms. You talk, you negotiate, you form alliances. But demanding to buy Greenland out of the blue, then getting genuinely upset when the owners say no thanks, is a deliberate shattering of those norms. It's a calculated act of disruption. Why? Because disruption itself is a form of power. It throws opponents off balance, it forces a reaction, and it demonstrates that the conventional rules don't apply to you. It sends a clear message. I play by my own rules, and I'm willing to do things you can't even imagine.
It's the political equivalent of walking into a formal dinner party wearing a tuxedo jacket and swim trunks. Everyone stares, everyone talks, and suddenly you're the center of attention, dictating the conversation. It's a way of saying, I control the narrative, even if the narrative is how absurd I am. But beneath all of this, there's a deeper psychological current, the desire for ultimate control. Power for many isn't just about influencing decisions, it's about absolute dominion. To own an entire landmass, to have sovereignty over its resources, its people, its future. That's a level of control that very few individuals or even nations ever achieve. It's the ultimate board game piece, a literal chunk of the world where you get to set the rules. In a world increasingly complex and interconnected, where power often feels diffused and shared, the idea of a simple, undeniable act of acquisition offers a seductive promise of total control. It's a throwback to colonial times, perhaps, but reimagined through the lens of a modern real estate tycoon. No pesky treaties, no endless debates, just a bill of sale. Thank you very much. And finally, let's not forget the legacy play. Every leader wants to leave their mark. Some build bridges, others pass landmark legislation. But what about buying an entire continent-sized island? That's a legacy that would literally reshape the map. Imagine the history books. President X oversaw economic growth. President Y ended a war. President Z bought Greenland. It's an indelible mark, a grand gesture that would echo through generations, solidifying a reputation as the ultimate deal-maker, the one who wasn't afraid to think bigger than anyone else. It's about going down in history not just as a president, but as a monumental figure, a global game-changer. It elevates a political tenure into something mythic, almost legendary. So when you look back at that baffling moment when Trump wanted to buy Greenland, do you still see just a silly headline, or do you see a perfectly calibrated, if unconventional, expression of a distinct psychology of power? Do you see a visionary trying to secure future resources and strategic advantages, or a real estate agent trying to flip the planet? What do you think this drive for ultimate acquisitions says about power itself? Let me know in the comments, and if this wild ride into the psychology of power made you think, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives.